And also for the others who want to watch this for eternity, we looked at the reproductive strategies. We are technically a K-selected species, okay? Because we're not having tons of kids, okay, and hoping that one survives. If we did that, that would be real trippy. Man, you know, like I just had 12 kids, but thank God 2 survived, right? Okay, that doesn't happen. You know, we elephants, whales, you know, we're giving that 1 to 2 to 3 births at a time. Are selected, okay, like they kind of like they give the example of mosquitoes and dandelions. I like to think more about like frogs, right? Okay, yeah, right. Okay, but frogs, man, you ever see frog eggs? And have you ever found frog eggs before? Yeah. It is the most beautiful black I've ever seen in my entire life. Like the color of the inside of a, and so she's Erica, are you laughing at me? Okay, inside is like it's like staring into something like that could transport you to another universe, right? Are you with me on this? Yeah. It is the most. If you've never seen a frog egg, we need to go hunting for frog eggs. Maybe in the spring, maybe you can find some. Maybe I could find some. Let's team up, man. Let's team up, or anybody else can join this game. Okay, frog eggs are crazy and they're awesome. Sure. Okay, if we can only get our diatoms going, maybe, you know, and maybe we'll have frog eggs in diatoms. It'd be really cool. Okay, but that black, I remember vividly the first time I saw a frog egg, and I looked at that. I was like, I could jump into that black hole and go somewhere. Okay, but only a few of those are going to survive, right? They're going to get eaten. They may not develop into actual frogs. That's our selected species. Please, dear God, note these 2 terms every year. It's on the AP exam. Okay, K selected, okay, that's the S curve. R selected, that's the J curve. Right? Okay, so here's some other just characteristics: short lifespan, early maturity. You know, think about those fruit flies in my containers. Let's see if anybody can remember this. How many people did the fruit flies with me? Okay, just a few. Okay, good.
Oh, we did it.
Okay. Oh, you did it in bio. Okay, good.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, here's a big trivia question. Okay, how do you know your female is a virgin? Anybody remember this? Well, you have to get a microscope, right? You have to take the legs. No. Not the height. No,
Isn't the eye cone?
Nope. Nobody, come on. Bingo. You had to get those flies out of your tube in 8 hours, because after 8 hours, by the way, secret, it's actually more around 12, but I give you like 8 just to give you like a little wiggle room. Plus everybody kind of remembers 8 hours right now, like a work day. Okay, 12 is probably pushing it. Okay, but 8, you're solid. So once that fly hatches, okay, that female will get knocked up in 12 hours. Okay, that's insane. Thank God humans are not like that. Can you imagine a maternity ward? Like, we got to separate little Johnny over there. He's trying to get a little Emily over there. I don't know why I chose that. Yeah, right. They are, you know, that's not luckily how that works. Okay, early maturity, many offspring, little parental care. Those flies don't give a care about their babies, right? They're just like, I did it, did my deed, adios, right? Okay, typically prey and typically niche generalists.
Do they
Okay?
mate with like their children?
Oh yeah. These, I have not gotten new flies. Like, these flies are old. Like, man, fingers crossed. I think I'm on year 3. I bought these flies and I just keep breeding them, breeding them, breeding them. Yeah.
So, like, how much in nature does like animals breed back to like their parents or whatever? Like, how much does that actually happen? Like, say in like the deer population right now.
Oh, so like, do deer?
Like, how much inbreeding?
Yeah, right. That's a great question. I don't know if anybody's done that study. That would be a really cool study to do. I literally don't know the answer to that. It'd be cool. I mean, that would be it'd be easy to track. I mean, DNA, you can do DNA testing. Like, easy on deer, right?
Even
But I don't know the
what
answer.
about like pack animals too, like wolves? That's
Oh yeah,
what-
wolves will try to like, so we're gonna talk about wolves in a couple minutes, but wolves will definitely have, you know, offspring. You know, technically, I mean, this is weird, like I should probably stop recording at this point, but like genetically, you would be okay to have babies with your cousins. Like it, I mean, like it's not gonna be like that messed up. Okay, that could make Thanksgiving real interesting this year, right? Just kidding, jokes, right? Okay, but yeah, I mean, like, you know, like lots of, like Darwin married his, and had kids with his first cousin, right? First cousin, right? First cousin, right? I think it was first cousin. Man, now you're making me question myself.
Why is it okay?
Will you look that up?
Yeah,
Somebody
why
look
would
that-
they be okay?
Kayla, you're on your phone. Look that up. Darwin, first cousin. I mean, it's, I mean, like, it's more like socially not, I mean, but like genetically, there's
Yeah, no,
enough
we-
diversity.
I thought we've always been taught like it was like. your
Yeah, you
kids
get
would
funny.
I mean, I
yeah,
wouldn't,
like,
I mean, you wouldn't want to do a lot, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets worse. Right. So if Darwin's kids married their first cousins, right, then it would get weird, right? And we're then on and on and on and on. But yeah, I don't know.
I thought about like.
Yeah,
you're
it's his
like-
first
It's
cousin.
first, right?
Emma
Right?
wed
Thanks.
with-
We gotta try
He
it.
has 10 children.
Yeah.
but 3 of them died before the age of 10.
Yeah, but that was, you know, that may not be because of,
Are
that's like,
selected.
yeah, that's 1800 crap right
That's
there.
just the
Okay.
ones that aren't-
Yeah, crazy, right? All right, here's the K-adapted species, right? Long life, slow growth, late maturity, few large offspring, high parental care. But you're like, what about spruce trees? They don't really take care of their kids. You don't have to have all these characteristics. You know, you're like, I don't see these spruce trees, mommy and daddy taking care of their babies. Okay, stable environment, typically predators, okay, niche specialists. Okay, so pretty much they're opposites of each other. Okay, I like to think of especially the parental care, the late maturity, but really those few large offspring versus the like small, lots of offspring kind of thing. Okay, any questions? You guys got this? This is bio one kind of stuff, right? So here's this. Yesterday I ran into the wall, right? There's that J curve. Okay, overshoots and diebacks, but it likes to level out right around here. But I want to talk about this little chart. Okay. Oh, this is one of my favorite things on the planet. So I got interested. I love wolves. And when I was in high school, I read Jack London, White Fang, Call of the Wild. I actually liked the new Call of the Wild movie. Yeah, it's really great.
Have you seen Dancing with the Wolves?
I love Dances with Wolves. I saw it 4 times in the theater. I know, I was obsessed. This is a little kind of a weird story. Okay, so when I was in high school, my parents, I still can't quite figure this out. My parents we never went anywhere. Our biggest vacations were like Kings Island or Pokagon State Park. We never went to really Florida. I did go to Disney World once when I was like 6, but we never like went to Florida to the beach. We never went to, anywhere it seemed like. So, but when my parents knew I was obsessed with wolves, and so for graduation, they bought me a ticket to Alaska. And the only reason they did this is because my high school English teacher, this was 1990, met a guy on the computer. And I vividly remember class this day where she told us, this is her last year. She met a guy and she's moving to Alaska. And we were all like, shut up. What are you talking about? She goes, well, I'll show you. She goes over to her Apple IIe computer, boots it up. And then there's this little blip, right? And we're like, shut up. And then so all of a sudden it's like, right? And then boom, her boyfriend appears, like just in these little green pixelated words, right? Hey, how are you? And she's like, I'm in class. I wondered if she's like, don't say anything dirty, but like, so she was literally chatting with this guy. She'd never really met him before, but she was going to go live with him. And then they ended up getting married. And then very soon afterwards, they got divorced. Yeah, I saw that coming. Anyways, my parents asked her secretly, not without me knowing if I could stay with her in Alaska for just a short while. It's like 2 weeks. Okay, so I fly to Alaska. Meet the guy. I'd never been on an airplane in my life, by the way. Okay, and you fly in Alaska is not just the easiest, right? So I fly into Anchorage. She picks me up. And then I meet the guy. The guy, I kid you not, looks like a troll from Lord of the Rings. He's this tall. He has long hair, a red beard, which is weird. Okay. I had no facial hair at the time. And like fat. Okay. A fat, like short troll. Like no joke. I can't remember his name, but I remember he liked Van Morrison. Whatever. So I wish I had a picture of this dude. So I get there, I stay one night, and the guy gets like mad that I'm there. He thinks I'm like after the woman, which is real weird because I most definitely was not. So like I basically get kicked out. And I'm in Alaska, but like they come, I'm 18. This is the weirdest thing ever. Okay, so anyway, I get on a train. I go to Denali National Park. I wish I had the internet. I'm trying to call these wolf biologists to give them. Can't get, nobody's answering my calls. Some 18-year-old trying to talk about wolves. Never get there, but get to hang out, get to hear wolves. It's pretty cool. Okay, go on to college.
How'd you get back?
How to get back?
Yeah, when you
Train.
get back.
Oh wait, so I took the train to Denali.
So they just like literally abandoned you.
Kind of, yeah. I talked to her recently, and because she's now like single and she's an amazing photographer. Still lives in Alaska. She loves it, and she's like, "You have to come back. I feel so horrible about what happened." I was like, "Yes." One night I got, oh man, I don't know if I can post all this stuff. One night I was like so bored I didn't know what to do, so I went to the neighbor's house, and I would love to know like the whole backstory on this, but like the neighbor, I knocked on this neighbor's door. I can't believe I did this. It was this woman. She was probably in her 20s and single. And I was like, "Hey, you do anything?" And she's like, "No." I go, "You want to go see Pretty Woman?" She was like, "Yeah." So we went to the mall. We watched Pretty Woman. We went back to her place. She offered me some weed. I said no. Yes, it was a weird trip. So anyway, all true. So then I just flew home. I did get to go to a place that was rehabilitating wolves. It was really cool. So then I go to college, go to Taylor, and at Taylor we had to have a senior thesis project. And my thesis was I was going to reintroduce wolves back into Indiana. Okay, this was my goal. Have I told you this before? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mentioned it. So I worked with GNR, and I was like, look, I want to get wolves back, and we did all these studies, and it was really cool. And we found out we can't because there's not enough land. They need 60-mile radius of uninterrupted land. There's just not in the state of Indiana to do that. So then let's fast forward to I gotta flip back to something else. Okay, so so now I'm teaching here. It's like 2007. Hannah and I are married. We're in my house. Greta is living in Chicago. Dino is my buddy. So Dino is Greta's husband. And Dino's at her house one day. He's like, I said, I got to show you this trailer. Okay, so I'm going to show you this trailer right now. And then I'll tell you what happened. Maybe. My internet has been real slow, and Michael just rebooted me, but it is still spinning like crazy. I can't handle the non-quickness. I need it fast. Okay. So let me show you this, and then I'll tell you what happened. Maybe.
Thicker than water.
No, the spinning. It's killing me today.
What was that video water in the street. Yeah, that's
You
really
got, you
bad.
can only touch the water. You can touch the water twice.
Yeah, you can touch the water though.
Bob's your uncle.
Conquerors of the useless. That's what we were. We had no set itinerary. We'd spend 250 days a year sleeping in a sleeping bag somewhere in the mountains, somewhere, or on a beach in Mexico, whatever. And then, you steal fruit off of trees and killing porcupines and ground squirrels and getting a little protein that way. We had a whole life in the outdoors. You realize that you have a sense of responsibility to protect these wild places.
Last time this far south, I spent 43 nights sweltering alone inside a mosquito-infested tent. After a long flat spell, some expats dragged me to a whorehouse in the middle of the desert. We had mezcal for breakfast. Got sick for a week because of bad river water. But man, I love this place.
All right, so watch the trailer. It's me, Hannah, and Dino, and we're all watching that. And Dino looked at me. And he's like, "We need an adventure." And I was like, "Heck yeah, man! I want to live that movie." And he's like, "Well, obviously we can't go to Chile and I get destroyed." He's like, "But how about this?" So we put a map up in our living room. It's like, let's do this. Let's spin around, throw a dart at the map, and wherever it lands, that's where our adventure is going to be. Okay, so we're stoked, man. We're like, this is it. Okay, I can't remember who threw it. Might have been me. Maybe we did it 2 times. Okay, I can't remember. Okay, but we threw it. Boom. We made the pack wherever it lands. That's where we're going. Boom. Lands right in the middle of Kansas. We're like, shit. There's like nothing to do. Okay, in the middle of Kansas. We're like looking around, and then we're like, okay, maybe this is a bad idea. Okay, let's pick something that like a place where no one goes, but a place where it might be like something like adventurous, something cool. And we picked Isle Royale National Park in the Upper Peninsula. Let me show you where that is, and then I'm going to show you some pictures. And there is a point to all this, by the way. I highly recommend this national park. In fact, more people visit Yellowstone in a day than people visit Isle Royale in a year. Okay, And the reason why is it's hard to get to and there's no cars on the island. So if I scan back on this map, you can see there's Canada. This imaginary line is Canada. And when I go back, you can see this is Lake Superior, right? Here's Michigan. So this is all still Michigan. This is what they call the UP. So we like drove up through Wisconsin. Whoa, not like that. Okay, there's Green Bay. Okay, and whoa, what's happening? Okay, but then drove up and then drove over through Minnesota, and then you go all the way up to Copper Harbor. You get on a boat in Copper Harbor. It's about a 3-hour boat ride. You can take a seaplane, but it's a lot more expensive. And then you get to the island. So we went backpacking for about a week, and it was truly one of the most magical things ever. So then these are not the pictures from that first trip. So we went, it was me and Dino and Hannah and Greta. Well, then Greta ended up going back to Isle Royale with Dino, and they got married on a boat, okay? And the witness to the boat was a 14-year-old girl. Now she was like, I think 18. Now she's like 23, who we befriended because she was our waitress at this small restaurant on the island. Sounds trippy, right? But it's all true. In fact, Marina has become a really good friend for all of us. She was their witness, and now she's a ship captain. She could have married him now. Okay, so this is a rare orchid. We ended up going back. So what you're going to see are some pictures of Isle Royale, and then we took the boys. So we were like, boys, we really want you to go see this place. So this is a picture of when we went in 2017. Here's a picture of the boat. Ira loved the boat. Man, these kids don't even look the same. There they are. We typically would backpack, but because we didn't want the boys to have to, sleep in a tent the entire time, we rented these things called housekeeping cabins. They're incredibly expensive unless, you're taking your family. I would just say tent, camp, and backpack. Okay, it's a really unique. It's about 55 miles long. The entire place. Here's some more of our little cabin. There's the island from one end to the other. We go into a place called Rock Harbor. This is right outside our place, and then this is some of the views. There's lots of poop. So here's Rock Harbor. Okay, and this is these are the housekeeping cabins. There is a small little hotel. Okay, and then there's a small little restaurant. Okay, but most people get there and then start hiking, and there are these little, basically, it's like a screened-in porch. Okay, but they're awesome. So you can stay inside these, and they're peppered throughout the entire park. But when we went the first time with Tina and Greta, we would just put our tent up in the middle of this because it got really cold at night. We went in June. Okay, so there's the transformer. Okay, some really cool flowers. We're in a boat. We froze our butts off, but it was fun. But I'm getting to kind of there's moose poop. They're playing with moose poop. Okay, tons of moose on there. Okay, I'll get to those numbers in a second. Oh, look at Linus. I don't know. He makes the weirdest faces in pictures. Like we have all these different pictures of him just making goofy faces. Ran into a guy who was in his 70s. He said he waited his entire life to see this rare flower. He saw it, and now he said he could die. That was a weird talk. This is Susie's cave. Ira said, "Where's Susie?" Not in the cave. All right. So there's a seaplane that you could get. So there's Dino, Greta, and those are Dino's parents. They joined us on the trip in 2017. That's David, Teresa. They're awesome people. Okay, but one of the coolest things that happened was this. Okay, so there's this group, and man, the name is escaping me. They're like a group of old people that just go places and then they listen to talks. Okay, we just randomly happened to be there when this guy was on the island giving a talk, and I about lost my mind. I couldn't believe it. This guy is Rolf Peterson. Rolf Peterson is the guy that started the wolf moose population study. Okay, it's been going on for almost 60 years now. It's unbelievable. He was like, I was like, man, I can't tell you. I was seeing a rock star. He's like, oh, he's so humble. He's nice. He's like, where are you from? He's like, I said, I'm from Indiana. He's like, Purdue. He's a Purdue guy. So he was really stoked. I didn't want to tell him that I like IU better. But we had a great talk, and And this was a very important time because Isle Royal was figuring out whether or not they were going, or what they were going to do with their wolves. Okay, because at the time we were there, the wolf population was almost nothing. In fact, there were 2 wolves left. It was a father and a daughter. Guess what Dad tried to do? Get it on with daughter. Do you think daughter liked that? Did not like that. Okay, and so so basically the population of wolves were going to die. The big discussion at this talk was, well, what do you think they were talking about? Should they reintroduce the wolves? Okay, now the national parks policy has always been let nature do its thing. Okay, but why were they really considering? Yeah.
Because then without the wolves, the moose would have no predator and they'd like eat everything.
They would eat everything and decimate this island. Okay, and look at some of this fauna here. It looks like it's Pacific Northwest on this end. On the other end, I kid you not, it looks like Indian. It is the weirdest environment I've ever been into. It is truly a magical place. And I mean, I literally can't explain it. There's bogs on it. I don't know, honestly, how many different ecosystems there are, but it's pretty crazy. I do have to show you this one other little picture. Come on, look at the moss and lichens there. Super cool. The orchids are unbelievable. Okay, just, oh man, the orchids. Yeah, if you go early, man, you can see them. And the the orchids are crazy. Some orchids just only in Iowa. Okay, so here's the picture I want to show you. So I have also, this was like another like crazy moment for me. Okay, so I got to see Rolf Peterson, and then I got to see this woman, and I've always wanted to see a superintendent of a national park. Okay, there's only like 50, the upper 50s of national parks, right? The superintendent is like the head of that national park, right? I've never even come close to meeting the one in the Everglades, even though I've been there for 22 years, right? Okay, this lady just happened to be walking by, and I'd seen her in movies before, and I knew she was a superintendent, so I went up to her, and I was like, "Hey," I go, "Nice to meet you, Miss Super." I don't know, I can't remember however. Superintendent, so. Okay, and I said, "Do you mind taking a picture of my son?" And she said, "Yeah," but look at this, like it was so awkward because she goes, "Do you mind if I pick him up?" And I go, "Sure," but I don't think she realized how fat he was. Like he's a tiny kid, but he's like right now he's like 98 pounds and he's 8. He's a chunker, right? So she picks him up and like kind of wobbles, and I'm taking as many pictures as I can, and she starts giggling because she's like, "This kid is heavy," like, and so, and then Ira's like, "Who's this strange woman?" I was like, "Ira, look at the camera." And he's like, "Yeah, what's happening?" He's got a draped over. She's trying to hold him. It was the weirdest thing ever, but she was such a good sport, and I was like, "Sorry, I forgot to tell you he's kind of chunky." And she's like, "Oh no, everything's fine." But she had like a whole entourage with her. It was really, really stinking cool. So I want to go back to this. I know we're almost out of time, but when you look at this, okay, look what happens with this. We'll come back to this. Wolves are in the orange, moose are in the blue. Wolf populations go up, then wolf populations go down. Moose populations go up, right? When moose populations go down, that's wolf populations are up. So they kind of mirror each other. Now, I do want you to look at these numbers. The biggest wolf population we've had is in the 50s. Look at this number over here. Moose populations are in the 2000s, right? Okay. With no natural predator, those moose will take over. And I don't know if you've looked at places where there's high deer populations, like look at Pokagon State Park. Before they introduced a controlled hunt there, you could literally go into the woods and see the browse line. You hunters in there, you ever see a browse line where there's just tons of deer? Like literally, this is how far the deer can eat, and there's nothing underneath it. It's insane, right? Deer hunters, you're a deer hunter, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? You've ever seen this before?
I mean,
It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, Pokagon State Park had to literally like open it up to hunting because their park was going to be decimated because of the deer. Okay, we'll talk more about this later. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Bye.